In Zambia, in the Mozio-Otunya National Park, David and a team of handlers are working to help save the African lion.
The studies that have been published so far on lion populations have shown approximately an 80 to 90% population drop just in the last 25 to 30 years. And that is an enormous decline in numbers.
Acting as a dominant member of the pride, David encourages captive-bred lions to develop the skills they need to survive, so that their cubs can one day be released into the wild.
I don't think there's anyone left who would suggest that lions aren't going to head onto the endangered list and be in a critical state in the next 20 years.
This morning marks a huge step forward for the programme and for 6 lions of the Zambian pride.
Hello. Today's quite a big day for the lions here at our site in the Mozio-Otunya National Park. It's a bit sad, but also it's very, very good because they are moving up to the Dambwa Forest site where the encounter area is very, very near completion now.
10 kilometres away in the Dambwa Forest is a 900-acre enclosure where the 6 lions will continue to develop their hunting technique and learn to work as a pride. Skills they need to master before they can survive on their own. The move will be an important test for the pride and for their leaders, alpha male Zulu and his sidekick, Toka. 6 months ago, they still had a lot to learn.
Tockles. Zulu, come on. What are you sitting down for?
The boys have come a long way from their adolescence. As a young lion, Zulu was scared of almost everything. His Mohican made him look like a warrior when he was anything but.
Grass swaying in the breeze was enough to have him just hunker down, close his eyes, just absolutely petrified.
And lazy Toka was more interested in sleeping than stalking.
It might actually be easy just to pick him up and carry him. He is unbelievable.
But in the intervening months, the boys continue to grow in confidence and in size, and now they stand firm as leaders of the pride.
Zulu is miraculous to see such a scared lion progress into this enormous beast who has a great confidence. He's easily the most dominant lion within this group. And then Toka, as his backup, is still the most lazy creature that we've ever had. Now we really get to see this group form together and go through those final stages before they actually get a release, which is, you know, just terribly exciting stuff.
Moving the pride is potentially dangerous. Zulu, Toka, and the 4 females will all have to be darted.
There are a number of things that can go wrong when you're darting. You do have the risk that the anaesthetic can have a negative effect on the lion, so we need to move quickly. We've got excellent vets here undertaking this process for us, so it should be okay, but you do always have that worry, and unfortunately we have lost a couple of lions in the past during this very process.
The whole team is on hand to help.
Morning.
David has called in his most experienced handlers, and he's briefing the project volunteers.
Now, this is all going to be a bit hectic. The principal thing is obviously the welfare of the animals. We need to record the time that they're darted, the time that they are actually declared asleep, any notes on their behaviour whilst they're asleep. Zulu, I think, is going to be our problem. He's not overly keen about, you know, being pole darted. We'll just stay on the beat and everything will be fine.
The pride members are nearly 2 years old. At this age, they're too big and too dangerous to be handled. It's not safe for anyone to go inside the enclosure while the lions are being darted. Specialist wildlife vet, Dr. Ian Parsons, will take his best shot from behind the fence.
There are massive risks and you have to plan well ahead so that everybody knows what to expect and that the animals are prepared themselves. We've separated them into 2 different pens. They haven't had food, theoretically, for the last 2 days, so that they don't regurgitate and vomit. I just have to make sure that I get the right dose for the right animal, because there are 3 different sized animals. If I shoot adequately and correctly, then it should be just 1 dart per animal.
To minimize the chance of complications, Dr. Parsons will only use a light sedative. The lions will go into a deep sleep, but they won't be fully knocked out.
Just so you know, Zulu is the most skittish one.
So we'll do him first.
So that would be good to do first.
No, Rich, just so that you can pass me the next dart, please. What you call a K, that's T, that's Toka. Over there, is that right?
Okay.
Let's bring everybody this side, please.
Please stand clear.
Zulu is first to be darted. Then the 4 females. And finally, lazy Toka, who doesn't even flinch.
So far, so good, yeah. They will start to get sleepy, stagger around, eventually rest with their noses down, hopefully. Then we'll know that they're safe to handle and asleep.
The lions could have an adverse reaction to the sedative at any time.
These lions have no clue what we're doing to them. All they know is that we're shooting darts at them and they're starting to feel a bit iffy. Actually, right now one's being sick. So the fact that she's got it out of the system actually is a good thing. The bigger issue is if while they're asleep they start to regurgitate and choke. Yeah, I mean, you invest so much. Zulu! Zulu!
Suddenly, Zulu starts to pull the darts out of the other lions.
Zulu! Leave it!
He doesn't understand what's happening to his pride mates, and his instincts tell him to remove the darts.
Oh, he's got it. He's got it. Hang on.
If Zulu swallows the dart, he could choke and die.
You attempt to remove that, there's a barb on it, so don't try and...
Faced with a life and death situation, Operations Manager Richard Leach decides the team has no choice but to go in with the pride.
Remember, they're going to be dizzy and aggressive. All right, so let's just go all going together.
The sedatives have already started to take effect. The lions are disorientated and could see the team as a threat.
This is in.
Okay, let's go. In.
Inside, the team heads straight for Zulu.
Okay, don't panic him.
He's carrying the dart in his mouth.
Can you see it, John?
Zulu, come on.
But when the team close in, he drops it.
There we go.
And they quickly clear the enclosure.
Zulu was picking off the darts off the other lions, and we just had a concern that he might have eaten one, but we found the one that he pulled off, so we're okay.
Zulu, being our most skittish lion, is clearly the one finding this a little concerning. As such, there's a lot of adrenaline pumping through him, which is slowing down the effect of the drug. So we're hoping that we can just help him to calm down so that the drug can take effect properly. Good boy.
David shares a close bond with Zulu and his pride.
We've had these lions since they were young cubs, and we've invested a huge amount of time in their development. And they're now going on to a different part of the programme, so we're not going to be able to interact with them in the same way, which is good for them, but I can only assume it's the same as when my mother sent me off to university. You know, she just had to give away a lot of the closeness that was there.
The females are quick to fall asleep, but Zulu shows no signs of giving in.
Okay, just roll Kefas. 1, 2, 3.
When the lions are sedated, their eyes stay open, so they're blindfolded to stop the glare of the sun damaging their sight.
What makes it harder is this process is not a fun one. It doesn't look nice for the lions. There are real risks involved. Everyone obviously is on tenterhooks until the whole thing's over. And Zulu is not going to sleep.
As Zulu paces anxiously, the first females are loaded.
1, 2, up!
The team will monitor their vital signs to make sure nothing goes wrong.
Okay, Richard, what we need here is one person responsible for calling the shots. These two animals, they're responsible for watching them. If they have any hesitation, they call me. There mustn't be a discussion between two people. Should they, shouldn't they, should they, shouldn't they? One person decides there's a problem, call Ian. Okay.
The team works quickly.
Wait, the head.
And eventually, the sedative gets the better of Zulu.
It's not a full sleep, so they can still react. So occasionally you see the eyes flicker, the head move just slightly.
Zulu is the biggest lion. It takes 7 men to carry him to the truck.
They are immobilized, but if they do start getting up, put pressure, all right? Focus on the head, side of the face, keep the head against the back, and hold the lion down. And don't jump out of the vehicle, it's a temporary thing. All right?
The team must reach Dambwa before the lions wake up. The race is on. In Zambia, David Yulden and his team are moving Zulu's pride to their new home in the Dambwa forest. The 2 males and 4 females have been darted. But after a 10-kilometre journey lasting more than 30 minutes, the sedatives are wearing off.
Zulu is starting to lift his head a bit.
Just reversing.
Okay.
Alpha male Zulu is the biggest of all the lions, and he's already starting to come round. Lion handler Kefas Mangela puts pressure on his head to try and keep him calm. The team race against the clock. One by one, the lions start to wake up.
No loud noises, please.
The lions are nearly 2 years old. If they were awake, it wouldn't be safe for David and his team to be this close.
They're very, very light now indeed. The drugs are wearing off, so we just have to make as little noise as possible. Otherwise, they might suddenly leap to their feet and charge off with their blindfold off and injure themselves. Hold them down, hold down. Quietly, 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 quietly.
True to character, Lazy Toka is the only lion still sound asleep.
Zulu is starting to come round, and the others are all coming around pretty quickly now, so we're having to move very quickly. The danger for us, obviously, is they're disorientated, so when they come around, they don't quite know what's going on. Luckily, they are still uncoordinated, so we're okay, but, you know, it's a high risk.
Okay, you can start quietly offloading these 2. Just lay them down as soon as they're off. They can take the blindfold off, no problem. Charge. One person, hold that head. Hold him down. Can you hold him while we take this one off?
Zulu is unloaded last. He's almost fully awake.
If he gets really cross, don't be a hero, let him go. Okay.
So for everyone's safety, David clears the area.
Go that way quickly.
Only essential team members stay inside the enclosure.
Careful. Pull. Go. Go. Go.
With just seconds to spare, the team make their escape, much to David's relief.
Well, Zulu woke up. Yeah, it's kind of hectic. Your heart is racing like crazy. You're hoping that they're okay. You're hoping you're okay. You just have to go with it and act quickly.
The animals, maybe they lightened up a little bit too much. The timing was very close, but the guys worked well. Held them down for just an extra few minutes until we offloaded them, and all well. Fantastic. Good job. Yeah, I enjoyed it.
The Pride has been brought to Dambwa to start the next stage of the release programme. Over the coming weeks, they'll be let out into a 900-acre enclosure where they can learn to work as a pride and hunt at night.
Now we just need to leave people to keep observing these make sure that they're all coming around okay. They've had some antibiotics and a couple of other jabs just to see them fit. And yeah, in the next 10 minutes or so, I guess they'll start to explore their new home. This is pretty cool stuff.
While Zulu finds his feet, his pride settles into their new home. But the day isn't over for David or his team. Back in the Mozio-Ottanya National Park, the project volunteers are hard at work preparing for the arrival of 7 new lions. After months of planning, it's a day David has been waiting for.
We actually decided almost a year ago that we needed to bring some lions into the programme, but it isn't just a question of go out and think, well, I'll get a lion today. This has been many, many months of careful negotiation and logistical planning. But they are now finally in the country, and yeah, we're just looking forward to meeting them for the first time and working towards getting them out into their natural environment.
The lions are in transit from South Africa. 5 of them are young cubs, 4 females and 1 male, and it's important their enclosures are ready.
This morning, our volunteers have gone into the enclosure, giving it a real good clear out, putting in a lot of behavioural enrichment, toys, something to keep these new lions entertained, and hopefully they'll settle in quite quickly.
All the Zambian lions are raised in prides to help develop their social skills.
Hey, Swana.
When the new cubs have settled in,
Good girl. Come
David plans to move them in with 2 of the programme's older lions, 17-month-old sisters, Temi and Swana.
Temi is the one nearest to me. She's extremely pale underneath. Swana, on the other hand, who's just stood up, you can still see that she's got those spots of youth still lining her stomach, which just gives her an overall darker look.
The 2 sisters may look similar, but their characters are very different. Temi is the most dominant sister. She's confident and brave. Swana is more cautious. She can be insecure and often looks to her sister for reassurance.
Temi is inquisitive in a playful sense. She saw just something red, probably a berry, just floating on the water. And because it's something new, she felt she had to go and investigate. It takes a bit more for Swana to get involved, but it looks as though she's now intrigued as to what Temi might have found. That was deeper than you were expecting.
The new cubs will look up to Temi and Swana for security and guidance, so it's important the sisters have a strong bond.
Within a wild pride, how those females are locked together provides security to the pride as a whole. They hunt together and they defend that pride and the pride territory together.
Watching the 2 lions interact gives David a crucial insight into their relationship.
It's really interesting to particularly look at the body language. With Swana, we're seeing a lot of jerky movements ahead that are quite lowered, whereas Temi is very much keeping her head high. Her movements are much bolder, more assured. Temi is more the dominant of these 2. And those signs that we're seeing from Swana are signs of submission. But this is all just sparring and you know, sorting out the place in the world.
As the submissive sister, Swana should know not to try Temi's patience, but she wants to play. Temi growls a warning, but Swana's not taking the hint, and it's not long before Temi feels the need to re-establish her dominance.
We have just seen Temi give Swana a real proper bite just on the back. That was a clear indication from Temmie, I'm boss, I'm showing you. Poor Swana.
Lions are social animals, and family ties are important. It's not long before the sisters call a truce. Seeking physical contact, they roll on each other, and Temmie grooms Swana's face, the ultimate sign of acceptance.
Come on. Come, Temmie. Come on, girl.
David is confident the sisters will be ready to guide the new cubs and lead their pride.
As these two are getting older, they are more independent. They're confident in themselves, but they will always retain a strong kinship. How the whole thing develops when we introduce 5 younger lions to them to start forming their release pride, I know we're just going to have to see when they get here. Good girls.
And David won't have to wait long.